Very good morning to all of you. This is mathematics class of grade 8 and this is my lecture number 1 of chapter number 5, data handling. Dear children, you must have studied in your previous classes how to collect and organize relevant data and present it in the form of frequency distribution table. You must have learned how to draw bar graphs for ungrouped data, finding mean, median and mode. Now, in this chapter number 5, data handling, we shall revise and strengthen these concepts and learn to arrange the data into groups. Representation of grouped data through bar graphs, that is histograms. We will be learning how to draw simple pie charts with reasonable data, and we will be learning or exploring the concept of probability. So basically data handling chapter deals with these topics, that is we will learn how to organize the data. We will learn or strengthen our concepts of drawing or making the bar graphs, that is histogram. We will be learning how to make the or how to represent grouped data through bar graphs, that is histogram we will be learning. And we will learn how to draw simple pie chart, and we will be exploring the concept of probability. But now in this lecture number 1, we shall recall few topics and we will be doing a little part of this chapter, that is organizing the data. So first of all, we will recapitulate the concept like pictograph, bar graph, frequency distribution table, and then I will be giving you the introduction of grouped data, histogram. Now let us recall, dear children, in our day-to-day life, we might have come across situation or information such as runs made by a batsman in the last 10 test matches. It may be the number of story books read by each of your friends. It may be the marks scored by the students of your class in mathematics test. And it may be the information, that is number of wickets taken by a bowler in the last 10 ODIs. So in our day-to-day life, we might have come across these types of information. So that is what I told you, that is the marks scored by the students of your class in mathematics unit test, number of story books read by each of your friends. Now, basically, this information collected in all the above cases is called data. The information collected in such cases, all such cases, or the examples of which I told you is called data. Now, data is collected basically in the context of a situation that we want to study. Whatsoever the situation we want to study, we need to collect the data in the context of that particular situation. And after collecting the data, we cannot use that raw data, that is unorganized. We need to organize the data in a systematic manner and then we can interpret it accordingly. So after getting the information, we cannot use it directly. First of all, we need to organize that data. That data, that is primary data, is basically raw data. That is a random information which we get. Then we need to organize the data in a systematic manner and then we can interpret the result, or then we can conclude accordingly. And data is represented graphically to give a clear idea of what it represents. So in this chapter, basically, we shall learn how to represent the data graphically to get a clear idea of what it is representing. You must have studied in your previous classes about pictograph. What do you mean by a pictograph? As the name indicates, a graph consisting of pictures. Pictograph, that is a graph consisting of pictures, or you can say pictorial representation of data using symbols. Here you can see this example. In this table, I have used the symbol of tree. It can be any symbol. It can be the symbol of car. It can be the symbol of any fruit. Likewise, basically in pictograph, we need to represent the data using symbols. So this one symbol of this tree is representing 10 trees. Likewise, we can count number of apple trees, peach trees, guava trees and pear trees. So we can count the number of trees according to the information that one symbol of tree is representing 10 trees. So basically, pictograph is the pictorial representation of data using symbols. All these concepts we have studied in the previous class. We are just doing the recapitulation. Now here one tree represents 10 trees and we can easily read the pictograph. Next comes the bar graph. All of you have studied or made the bar graphs also in your previous classes. What do you mean by a bar graph? As the name indicates, it is basically the display of information using bars. But there are certain conditions for those bars. There should be of uniform width and the height of the bars should be proportional to the respective values. That is, bar graphs are the visual representation of data. These can be drawn vertically or horizontally. It is not mandatory that every time we will be making the vertical bar graph. It can be horizontal also. It is a display of information using bars of uniform width. As I told you that bar graphs are basically, or it is basically a display of information using bars of uniform width and their heights is being proportional to the respective values. This is an example of bar graph. Here, this x-axis is showing the academic years and this y-axis is showing number of students in class 8th. So, bar heights give the quantity for each category. Their heights are telling the quantity for each category and these bars are of equal width with equal gaps in between. Okay, so using these graphs, we can get information like what is the information given by the bar graph? It is basically telling the number of students in class 8th for particular academic years. We get to know about this and we can also get to know the questions like in which year is the increase in the number of students maximum? In this year, the number of students are 300. So this is the maximum limit. This is the minimum of this graph. This is the minimum value of this graph. Likewise, we can represent or we are displaying the information using bars of uniform width and their heights being proportional to the respective values. So this is an example of bar graph. This is an example of bar graph between academic years and number of students in class 8th. Double bar graph. Now, double bar graph is basically a bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. We can represent two sets of data simultaneously using double bar graph. That is a bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. It is useful basically for the comparison of the data. Let us see an example. This is an example of bar graph. Here you can see two sets of data is being shown. Likewise, two graphs, two bars you can see simultaneously for one child. Here the number of these x-axis represents the number of the students, those who appeared in test 1 and test 2, and this side is representing their marks. So for one student, two bars I have shown, and this is the only definition of double bar graph. That is a bar graph showing two sets of data simultaneously. If I am showing two sets of data simultaneously, that is a double bar graph. It is basically used for the comparison of data. So using this double bar graph, I can easily compare the marks of test 1 and test 2 of any of the students or the child which is being mentioned here along x-axis. Now, next comes the organizing data. We have the data, and as I told you earlier that we need to organize the data and then only we can interpret it. So raw data is also known as primary data. The information which we get, as I gave you the examples in the very first, in the beginning of this chapter, that is marks scored by the students of your class in the mathematics unit test, number of story books read by each of your friends, etc. This type of information is called raw data, and this raw data is also known as primary data, which is available to us in an unorganized form. So raw data is unorganized. To draw meaningful inferences, we need to organize the data, and there are various ways in which we can organize data. We can organize raw data using, how can we organize the raw data? It can be using frequency distribution table, bar graphs, or histograms. Pie charts also we will be learning. So these are the ways to organize raw data. For example, I am just giving you the example of frequency distribution table first. For example, a group of students were asked for their favorite subject. The results were as listed below. These are the certain group of students were asked for their favorite subject, and this is the result. Like these are their favorite subjects for a certain group of students. If the survey is being conducted for from a certain group of students, and they told their favorite subjects like these. So we need to here I am giving you the example of frequency distribution table. Basically what you will be doing, you have organized the data. Subject, we know that what are the subjects. They we have seen the raw data, and we have come to know that the most of the students are liking art, mathematics, science, and English. These are their favorite subjects. Then telemarks and number of students. Telemarks, in telemarks, I have from that raw data, I have seen that number of students who are liking art subject are 7. So I have made it or represented using telemarks. So what I have done, you must all be knowing that first of all 7 I need to represent. So what I will be doing, I will be making 4 lines, and then for 5th line I need to make a cross like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is your 5, 6 and 7. Likewise I have represented 7. Likewise 5 I have represented. So first of all you will be representing 4 values, and then 5th value will be represented like this, and then further you can represent more values. For likewise for science I have represented 6, 5, this shows 5, and one more is there, so it is total of 6. So likewise 4. So these are the subjects which are liked by the group of students. This I have represented in telemarks. Instead of writing art 7 times, or instead of writing mathematics 5 times, I have organized my data. So number of students liking art, mathematics, science and English subjects are shown in this column, number of students. So number of tallies before each subject gives the number of students who like that particular subject. So number of tallies, these are the tally marks. These before, which are being written before each subject, gives the number of students who like that particular subject. So this is known as frequency of that subject. What do you mean by frequency now? So what is it? Frequency is basically the number of times a particular entry occurs. Frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. Likewise, art subject was repeating 7 times. So this is your frequency. 7 is the frequency. And frequency of students who like English is 4. I will read like this. Frequency of students who like mathematics is 5. Frequency of students who like art subject is 7. Likewise, so frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. Now, the table made is known as frequency distribution table. The table which I have shown you, that is frequency distribution table, as it gives the number of times an entry occurs. As the name indicates, the table which is showing the number of times an entry occurs, this is frequency distribution table, and we have learned the definition of frequency also. Now, grouping data. Suppose we have large number of quantities. In that case, we need to make groups. That is, likewise, we in the previous example we have small entries, but if we have large number of quantities, then what we are supposed to do, we need to make the observation group, we need to group the observation and then make the table. Such a table is called grouped frequency distribution table. This is what I will be explaining in the further slides. First of all, you should understand what is this grouping data. Grouping data means, here if we have large number of quantities, then we need to group the observation and then make the table. Such a table is called grouped frequency distribution table. For example, let us consider the following marks. These marks are out of 50, obtained in mathematics by 60 students of class 8. These are the marks of 60 students of class 8th out of 50 in mathematics subject. So how we will group the data and how we will draw the frequency distribution for the same. Let us see now. This is the data given to you. If you will observe the data, I have made the grouping of 0 to 10. If you will observe that data, you will find that there the minimum value of that data goes till 60, and maximum value goes till 60 and minimum value it is 7. If you will look at the data, you will find the minimum value is 7 and it goes till 60. So what I have done, I have made the groups of 10, that is 0 to 10. What I have done, I have made the grouping of the numbers or the marks which I am having. So 0 to 10 I have made one group, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and 50 to 60. Likewise, I have made the groups of the observation. Now in this basically 0 to 10, this is your class interval. 0 to 10, this is known as class interval. 10 to 20 is also known as class interval. So 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, these basically are class interval, or they can be called class only. Okay, now this 0 is the lower class limit. 0 is the minimum value of this interval. So 0 is the lower class limit. 10 is the upper class limit. Likewise, for this interval is 40 to 50. What is the lower limit of this interval? 40. What is the upper limit of this interval, class interval? That is 50. Likewise, 50 to 60 is the class interval. Suppose I am taking, what is the lower limit of this interval? 50. What is the upper limit of this class interval? 60. So likewise, I have made the groups of the observation, and in this first group, that is 0 to 10, I will be including the values including 0 till 9. This 10 will be included in the next interval. And here 10 to 20 interval, I will be including the values from 10 and in between all the values from 10 to 19. And this 20 will be included in the next interval. Likewise, every upper class limit will be included in the next interval. Likewise, here, what is the upper class limit? That is 30. It will be included in this interval. 40 will be included in this interval. And 50 will be included in this interval, 50 to 60. So, 0 to 10, I will be included in this interval. I will be including the values from 0 to 9. So, I have seen that two values are there. So, I have made two lines, that is your telemark, and I have written the frequency 2. Likewise, 10 to 20, you will be including the values 10 to 19. This 20 will be included in the next interval. So I have seen that 10 values are there. 10 I have written. Likewise, you need to find the values and place the telemarks and then write the frequency. Now, another thing to note that is, as I told you that these are the marks of the 60 students. At the end of this grouped frequency distribution table, you need to take the total, and this total should match with the number of students, or for whatsoever it is given to us in the equation. I am talking about basically for that. Here the 60 students were given, so this total should match with that number. 60 students data or marks are being given, and we are getting the total as 60. It means our this grouping of data is correct. It means all these frequencies are correct. I am repeating it. Here what we have done, marks of the 60 students of mathematics of class 8 were given to us. Now this data was big, so we have done the grouping of that data, and we have made the groups of 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. Likewise I have made the groups. Now from 0 to 10, basically 0 to 10, 10 to 20, these are all the class intervals. 0 is the lower class limit, and 10 is the upper class limit, and this upper class limit will be included in the next interval. Like 10 to 10 will be included in 10 to 20, 20 value will be included in 20 to 30, likewise. So in 0 to 10 interval, the values ranging from 0 to 9 will be considered. So we have seen that frequency of these values are 2, 10, 20, likewise for every interval we have seen, and we got the total as 60 because there were 60 students only. So we have made this frequencies distribution correctly. So data represented in this manner is said to be grouped, as we have made the groups, and the distribution obtained is called grouped frequency distribution, and it helps us to draw meaningful inferences. Like most of the students have scored between 20 and 40, as I got the frequency greater from 20 to 30 interval and 30 to 40 interval. So we can infer or we can conclude from the table. These are the things which we can conclude, and 8 students have scored more than 40 marks, and so on. Likewise we can have the conclusions. Now each of the groups 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, etc. is called a class interval. This I told you. Class interval, in the class interval 10 to 20, 10 is called the lower class limit and 20 is called the upper class limit. This is what I told you. Now this width or size. What is this width or size? The difference between the upper class limit and the lower class limit is called the width or size of the class interval. As we have taken the interval 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So what is the difference between, I am talking about this interval 0 to 10. What is the difference between the upper class limit and lower class limit? Upper class limit is 10, lower class limit is 0. So 10 minus 0 you will be getting 10. Likewise, this will remain the same for every class interval. For the complete table, this will remain the same. If I am talking about this interval 20 to 30, what will be my width or size? Upper limit is 30 minus lower limit is 20, that is 10. This is same as this interval. So width or size, how you will calculate width or size? Upper class limit and minus lower class limit. It will give you the width or size of the class interval. Now coming to histogram, we have grouped this data. I am relating it because histogram is basically made for the grouped data. And in this, while making histogram, we are not supposed to make the tally marks. We are supposed to take the frequency as well as make the groups. We are supposed to make the groups and take the frequency for that particular group, and then you can make histogram. So histogram is basically made for the grouped data. So first of all, we need to make the groups, show the frequency, and then we can plot it. Likewise, you can see here what I have done. These are the number of students of class 8th, those who appeared in maths test. And if you remember, from 0 to 10 interval, we have the frequency of 2. So I have written the intervals are taken along x-axis and number of students I have taken along y-axis. So 0 to 10, how many students were there? What was the frequency? 2. So I have started here as 2. Now next interval was 10 to 20 and frequency was 10. So 10 to 20 I have taken. You must be observing that along x-axis I have written the intervals 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, this is 10 to 20, then 30 I have written. Likewise you can see here 30, 40, 50 and last is 60. So along x-axis you need to represent the class intervals and the height of the bars show the frequency. The height of the bars show the frequency. So after that 20 to 30 interval, the frequency was 21. So I have shown here 21. 30 to 40, what was the frequency? 19. So I have shown here. 40 to 50, frequency was 7. So I have shown here. 50 to 60, frequency was 1. So I have shown like this. So another thing you must have observed, that in bar graph, there used to be gaps between the bars, but here in this grouped data, that is in graphical representation of the grouped data, that is histogram, there is no gap between the bars. There is no gap between the bars. You can see all the gaps are all the bars are joined to one another. So if I need to make a histogram, first of all, what I need to do, I need to group the data. And then another thing to keep in mind is that there should not be any gap between the bars, as there is no gap between the intervals. You can see I have not taken any gap between the intervals. After 0 to 10, I did not take 20 to 30. I have taken 10 to 20. So there is no gap between the class intervals. So it means there should not be any gap between the bars. So we have represented the groups of observations, that is class intervals, on the horizontal axis. The height of the bars show the frequency of the class interval. Also, there is no gap between the bars, as there is no gap between the class intervals. We have taken the consecutive intervals, that is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Likewise, there was no gap between the bars, between the class intervals. So there should be no gap between the bars. The graphical representation of data in this manner is called a histogram. So dear children, in this chapter, we have recalled the concept of frequency distribution table. We have recalled the concept of pictograph, bar graph, and then double bar graph. And then we have learnt how to organize the data using frequency distribution table and grouped frequency distribution table. Then after that, we have learnt how to make histogram for grouped frequency, for grouped data. So basically, in histogram, there should be no gap between the bars, as there should not be any gap between the class intervals, and the graphical representation of the data in the manner as we have discussed in the previous slide is known as histogram. So your homework is to complete question number 1 to 5 of exercise 5.1 in your homework notebook. Thank you so much.